kind of kick out the overheads of the fiscal systems, I mean, theoretically, we could be working in a much more sustainable way. But of course, the kind of legacy structures that we have, the banks and all that stuff, I mean, they're not going away with one pilot. But at least with small pilots, we can show that there are different ways of sharing digitally much more efficiently and doing good for the nature. So it is important for us to show it in reality that it works. The structures will not change that quickly, but that's one of the ideas in the Living Labs that we want to show. For example, in 3 cities in Holland, Belgium, and close to Lisbon, the city decided that all public transportation is free of charge for the citizens of those cities. They just calculated that it's so much more efficient not having the collection process of all those micropayments of tickets, rather plan so that everybody has a bus stop or a tram stop or a train stop at least like less than a kilometer from your house. So plan the whole infrastructure so that it's so efficient that it pays off not charging it. So this type of new models are very innovative. I won't go, I mean, this is Bill Mitchell, I already mentioned. He's the Australian professor who kind of invented the Living Labs 15 years ago, and we have taken it in Europe further to this public sector. But Bill is really an excellent promoter of open innovation and Living Labs still. He's really now working on public transportation systems in 7 cities. They did in the MIT campus interesting trials with 25 kind of small-scale cars. The whole system of what he's now promoting is really fantastic. He took the model of Paris. You know, in Paris you have these bicycles. Every 5th block in Paris you can hire a bicycle from a kind of vending machine, put €0.50, and you can drive the bicycle wherever for half an hour. Then if you keep them longer, you have to pay a little bit more. It's really a functioning system with bicycles. So what Bill added on to it, that he produced in Taiwan a kind of a very lightweight composite plastic cars with a kind of a tractional front wheel drive, very cheap to manufacture electrical cars, 2-seater cars. And they kind of retract into similar type as the shopping mall shopping carriages retract kind of, you can get them compressed in a very small space. You drive them as the bicycles in a city environment, and then when you finish, you kind of drive on top of a kind of a, it's a kind of a, looks like a plastic mat, which is the recharging mat, which recharges automatically these 2-seater cars. And the whole system for recharging these cars is based that the building itself has, on top of the building, solar panels and some additional wind power, potentially even geothermal power, so that that building or a few buildings are completely kind of creating a micro business for that chain of those retractable cars. So it's interesting that now in city environments you get very kind of completely unpolluted way to commute or do your shopping. It even went further. He started producing small mopeds, very small mopeds, which also retract and become a kind of a shopping carriage. So that you drive the moped and then you retract it, and then you can go inside a shopping mall and do shopping and then open it and continue. And it works with the similar system. The same mats are charging these. When he started putting these into city environments, the car manufacturing industry was violently against it. So he had to find areas where the car manufacturing industry could allow them to start manufacturing those gadgets more efficiently. Now we see this type of electrical cartridge appearing in different parts of the world already. I don't know if Bill Mitchell's idea will be the winning idea. At least it was the most radical and it was the first one. So it made really big difference, even if he won't become a millionaire of the electrical cars, city-based cars. But again, he took it furthest and the earliest. So I think he's one of the kind of lead promoters of open innovation. So what are living labs? I'll just quickly, they are physical places where users, researchers, industry, public sector meet in providing capabilities of producing open services to their communities. We have created this kind of an association in Europe where we have currently 130 such sites around the Europe, which is now growing. I've been the chairman now for more than 3 years. 2 weeks ago, because it's been growing organization, I couldn't anymore have my time on it, so we selected a new chairman and a secretariat so it has now become a truly professional organization, and it's really rapidly growing, creating this type of environments all around the world. So trying to create also kind of network efficiencies over the time zones, that we can test not only some of the ideas that we do here in Europe, we could concurrently same time start testing many of the applications in the growing markets of China. So again, I have several examples where, especially in Finland, we seem to be concentrating and seeing the capability of testing new product even easier in the Chinese market, because Chinese market, they are more, let's say, it's a contradiction, but since they don't have kind of a history or legacy structures about defending any of their industries, because they come from the communist past, they are kind of open to any new ideas. So they can kind of leapfrog into any great ideas, and they can implement new interesting thing in a mega scale. So we are now implementing in close to Shanghai a test city of 150,000 people to become a kind of an eco-efficient city, a kind of a dream city. No other country could put hundreds and hundreds of millions in order to put a dream city in place. One could be, of course, critical on the human rights issue and how dream city it is, but at least the technical design of that and implementation will be interesting. We wouldn't have a client in Europe or America saying that, hey, give us a few $100 million or euros, we'll build your city. China is saying, let's start from a small city, 150,000. Currently, the biggest living lab is something like 10,000 people. So we'll have soon a living lab in China, which is already 150,000 people. So again, we have to see the capability of Europeans providing the interesting concepts. So that, I've been very much in those negotiations with this city, and it's very interesting where the Chinese, they're very pragmatic and they're very open. They ask us questions that should we recruit a mayor to the city, a chairman, or a managing director? So they ask us what is the kind of governance model of a city? So do we do a democratic city? Do we do a selection, voting? So they're open on any model. So it's not only the technical design that we would want to give them. They ask us all the hard political questions. How should an eco-city, dream city function? Again, I don't know in the very end if we kind of design a kind of a very refined democratic election-based democratic city, will it fly? But anyway, at least they are open to evaluate it. So therefore, some of the and we have excellent examples also in South Africa and Brazil, where we could actually create lead markets beyond Europe, because in Europe we are defending our borders and we are defending our legacies.